we go. Boom, below 250, just kicked on. Look at it. And right back up. That's way, way higher than that AC should be reading, guys. And it definitely should not be above 450. What's up, guys? Steve, 6-Day Ranch, honest reviews and how-tos. Today, we're gonna be looking at an AC problem here in my F250. Excuse the mess, guys. It's a farm truck, don't give me too hard of a time. So I wanna give you guys a little backstory. So the AC started acting up about 6 months or so ago, and seemed like it was a blower problem. The blower would just stop all of a sudden. We'd be cruising down the road, blower would stop. Every now and then it'd kick back on. There didn't seem to kind of be a pattern. It was odd. Around the same time, unfortunately, we noticed that the air wasn't blowing as cold as it could be, and it was intermittent as well. So what would happen is when the blower was working, air would be blowing, but not cold air. And then cold air would kick on. You could feel it. So it felt like the compressor was cycling a little bit. And I hadn't had time to troubleshoot it until recently. And that's why we're doing this video here. I think it's an easy fix. I hope it is. I couldn't find a lot online on how to troubleshoot this type of an issue. And thanks to a good buddy of mine, Bruce. Bruce, if you're watching, love you, bro. Appreciate it. And he helped me out. He's got some AC gauges. And what we did is we hooked him up to the high and the low side of the AC system underneath the hood. I'm not going to show you guys that because I don't have the gauges, but that's pretty easy. There's a lot of good YouTube videos out there on that. So pressures were reading about normal. I think it was about 200 or so on the high side, 205, and on the low side, oh man, don't quote me on it, but I want to say it was around 35 to 40. You know, there's some numbers on there's some charts on how to measure that based on the ambient temperature and stuff like that. Again, that's not what this video is about. I just want to let you guys know that the pressures seem to be reading fine. We even topped it off a little bit with Freon, and same problem though. AC would cycle, and the blower issue did end up being a busted blower, so I got that changed out. Blower in this truck, guys, I should have done a video. It's painful. It's painful. There's some good videos out there on that already though, so you are in good hands if you do some Google searching. If you can't find anything, let me know. I'll give you a link. Today we're troubleshooting the AC, what I think is the AC pressure switch. And I'm going to show you guys how I came to that conclusion. And we've got a replacement pressure switch right here. Part number's right there. And I'll put this down in the link below. All the stuff I'm using today, including the little OBD reader I've got, I'll put the link down below in case you guys are interested in what specifically we're using or where we got it from. So with the two gauges on the high side, it was reading just fine, even though the compressor was cycling on and off. We were testing like for gap issues, stuff like that. The compressor was cycling on and off. High side pressure was fine, low side pressure was fine. It fluctuated like you would expect it to, nothing major, and it just kept cycling over and over again. And didn't make a lot of sense. What I did is I finally got home, I popped in a little Bluetooth OBD reader, and I'll try to show you guys that right there. That's the one I'm using. Notice this little switch, guys. This is pretty awesome. This guy right here is modified. It can do MS CAN and HS CAN. Not many of them can do that. There are different readings you can get from the different cans. Those are the protocols that the truck uses to communicate. We're going to be on the high-speed CAN right now for the reading that we're going to get. But man, especially with a Ford truck, guys, with a Ford pickup, get ForScan, guys. It's a great app, especially on a laptop. They've got a cool little limited version. That's what I'm using on this Android phone here. But the app for a laptop, you plug that thing in or connect to it over Bluetooth, whatever. There's so much data you can get, guys. It'll save you a ton of money. It'll pay for itself in no time. Don't know what the app costs for the computer. It's only like $5 for the phone. In my opinion, well worth it. Anyway, I want to show you guys this. So this is what it looks like. Got a little bit of glare. I'll try to fix that. All right, so what I've done, guys, is I've already added the so what I've done, guys, is I've already added the little sensor for the high side. It's the AC pressure sensor, okay? And I'm going to show you guys where this is in a little bit. But this is the reading, and I want you guys to pay attention. I've got the AC here on max, right? Which means it should be engaged at all times when needed. And this is, again, ACP_press, AC pressure sensor. This is the high side reading, guys. I want y'all to pay attention to this number. Watch what it does. I'm sitting here, I've got the fan down on low so that hopefully you can hear better. What we're gonna see is this PSI number. You see how high it's reading? The high dollar gauges we had hooked up to the truck, this measurement here never got over 205. See where it's at right now? So what's gonna happen is it's gonna get down to about 250, which is the safety cutoff, and it's gonna kick on. You might be able to hear it. All right, so it just kicked on. Now look at it. Look at that pressure, guys. And what'll happen is this pressure gets up above the 450 to 500 range. I think it's 450. And then that pressure sensor is gonna cut it off. And then you're gonna see it drop all the way back down. It's gonna go back down to 250. And I've noticed the hotter the day it is, the more rapid these numbers change. All right, here we go. Boom, below 250, just kicked on. Look at it. And right back up. That's way, way higher than that AC should be reading, guys. And it definitely should not be above 450. So I'm gonna put that there. All right, so my problem is if the good gauges that we have are reading normal levels and we didn't see that fluctuation at all, why is this thing jumping up and down so fast? I suspect that the sensor's bad. I hope that the sensor's bad. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys where that sensor's at and how to change it, and we're gonna see if it makes a difference or not, and we'll go from there. I don't know if it's gonna fix it, but I hope that it does. I had a very hard time, guys, finding this part. Particularly, this is a 2011 f250, and you'd think, being a little bit of an older f250, there'd be a ton of good help out there in the forums on AC stuff. Man, it is really hard to find good info out there in the forums, and I had a difficult time finding anything about where the location of the AC pressure switches and sensors were. So I still don't know where the low pressure switch is, guys. The high pressure switch, I'm going to show you where that's at. That's underneath the air filter. And I know that there are some sensors inside the dash. The evaporator temp sensor, that's also a common problem in these trucks. And that is in the dash, and you got to pull the whole stinking dash apart. It's like a 10-hour billable job, so that's pretty painful. If any of you guys have that problem where it is your evap temp sensor, say the dealership's already told you, there are some videos out there on how to, if you're not bashful about cutting into your air box in your truck, you can actually take your glove box off, or take the lid out, you know what I mean? And there's a little square hole that you can cut and replace that probe and then cover it back up. Now, it's not the most ideal of fix, but it does work, and it'll save you a ton of money, especially on an older truck if you don't care that much. And you can't even see it, it's in the dash anyway. So if you need help with that, comment down below, and I'll be happy to share the links that I found just digging through some backwoods forums on how to fix that. We're gonna change this sensor out. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, and then we're gonna come back in here and test it and cross our fingers that it works. All right, guys, so I'm gonna show you where it's at. This is the beast. It's right below, kind of right behind where this air filter is. So I'm gonna pop this off just to get a little bit more room in there. We're gonna undo this guy, put it there. A couple of clips right here. Take that off, take that. All right, so we're just gonna pull this up here. That should not have been that loose, guys. I'm gonna have to tighten that. All right, so now you can see a little bit better. It's right there, that's it. And it's gonna be, right here, it's gonna be a number 14, sorry guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach my hand down in here, guys, and I'm going to take the plug off for the sensor. Got it right there. I've already broke this loose. It was actually pretty easy. It was not very tight. Hopefully I can get the rest of it off with the hand. That's the old one, guys.
Wait, I think, did that snap?
It sounded like it.
Yeah, it's on there.
Awesome. There you go. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, so we got it swapped out. Got the air filter cover back on. That beautiful young lady over there, that's my wife, guys. Miss Dorothy over there had to help me out because it was a tight fit, and I got it swapped out, but I couldn't get the plug on this end to snap back. You know, it's got the little barb there that it's got to snap onto. You got to push it pretty hard for it to snap on. Anyway, she got in there with her smaller arms, and she was able to get it snapped on. So if you don't have a wife, that's a great tool to have, guys. I highly recommend it. But they are high maintenance.
I got you something to drink.
Oh, thank you, baby. She got me something to drink too.
Brother's getting yours.
So unfortunately, it did not fix the problem. Look at this pressure, guys. It's about to hit 250 again here. Soon as it hits 250 or below, I should say, boom, right there. It's also going up a little bit faster too. And as soon as that hits 450, a little bit above, it's going to start cycling back down, and it's going to go all the way back to 250. So that's a bummer, guys. It did not fix it. There were several folks in the forums that had said a very similar issue, fixed theirs. It was only a $30 part, so I figured, what the heck, you know, always keep it simple and cheap. One thing I forgot to tell you guys about these sensors is you do not have to drain the system. You don't have to open your AC system because of the little valves they have in those things. So wear some PPE or something. Keep your face away from it at a minimum when you crack it open, because a little bit of Freon might leak out when you're swapping these sensors out, and you don't want to be breathing that junk in. So just a little word of advice there. So if anything, this turned out to be a how-to video on how to replace your AC pressure switch. Unfortunately, it did not solve my problem. There are many folks out there that did solve their problem, so I'm still going to post a video. If you guys have any suggestions on what might be wrong with old Beast here, let me know. The blower motor, I actually already swapped that out. It's blowing great now. That compressor, as you guys can see by those numbers, it's still cycling like crazy. I'm assuming it's probably some sort of blockage at this point, maybe an orifice tube. I don't know. The readings are really confusing me since the gauges are reading just fine underneath the hood. So if you guys have any tips, I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. And I'll keep y'all updated. Whatever I ended up doing next to try to troubleshoot this thing, may even take it to the dealership and let them have a go at least diagnosing it. Either way, I'll keep you guys updated, because I know there are folks out there that are having similar issues. I can't be the only one. Appreciate you guys watching. Until next time.